international news live here on Star TV with me, Waida Sase, Top Stories. The chairman of the Leone ExService Association Overseas, Slesau, retired Ken Joshua, has said that over 20,000 Leone ex-servicemen and women are living in deplorable condition, and expressed the association's desire to work in partnership with its team to ensure that the livelihood of the ex-servicemen and women in Leone is projected for due recognition of their loyalty to the government and people of Leone. The International Organization for Migration, in collaboration with the Office of the National Security, has celebrated the International Day for Disaster Reduction, engaging young people in a cleaning exercise at Firestone Community and Collet Community. The French ambassador to Leone and Guinea, His Excellency Yin-Mag Gosguin, on Tuesday, 17th October 2017, officially held the formal launching of the French company's business club, FCBC, attracting representatives of French companies working in Leone at the France Embassy at Spolu in Freetown. And in sport, our swimmers select a new executive on Saturday. Diving and Water Polo Federation, Mohamed Toure, has outlined plans to join forces with the government to mobilize resources for the construction of a new swimming pool dedicated to national swimming programs. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. The International Organization for Migration, in collaboration with the Office of the National Security, has celebrated the International Day for Disaster Reduction, engaging young people in a cleaning exercise at Firestone Community and Collet Community. Andrew Bestman reports.
The International Organization for Migration, in collaboration with the Office of the National Security, has celebrated the International Day for Disaster Reduction by engaging young people in a cleaning exercise at Firestone Community and Collet Town Community. The aim of the exercise is to mitigate our vulnerability to disaster-related events, such as the August 14 mudslide and the flooding that occurred in the Western Area Rural District, so that the number of people that may be affected by any form of disaster will be reduced, if not completely eradicated, by the year 2030. During the cleaning exercise, the project coordinator of disaster reduction, Yuki Daizomoto, said the cleaning exercise of the two communities, Firestone and Collet Town Community, is a way of promoting a global culture of risk awareness and disaster reduction. She further encouraged all individuals, communities, and government to take part in building more disaster-resilient communities and nations.
Today we are organizing a cleanup campaign in Firestone Community because there are so many boulders here washed down after the flood in August. We have a DR project funded by the Japanese government even before the flood occurred. And yesterday it was the International Day for Disaster Reduction, so we thought that it could be a really good opportunity for the people to think about what they can do by themselves for this community.
In an interview with two young people at Firestone Community, Ansumana Kata and Mary Kamara, both expressed appreciation to the International Organization for Migration and the Office of the National Security for their timely intervention to engage the people of the two communities to clean their communities as a way to reduce the risk to disaster. They went on to explain how the August 14 events destroyed their properties and some were left homeless.
During the time when this water been destroy Boku properties, the only thing we will still pray God for that particular day, not a single life in there for us, because people have become aware, not to be net. But like, if we never fail people and property them, even the codes have been never vandalized, the water been never enter, up to now some people have seen for inside them for them place for let them live on all day. Even from food and where them been never get some of them properties and all been never go. today really people and pass some organization they hold the time for see whether we time for foreign people and talk to people and how for let them know how best they will come up with solution as to how they will stop them their problem moving up for corona.
You are saying affect me. The able listen that I want you not type of people right and faster. More time they go sleep. All you are saying don't go to things on property. They all long go. They are all at the same day. They are all on problem. So that's also all same day. So right for all you don't type of sleep. And go get here for entry no more. You don't get type of sleep. You don't get it for it. When they come, after for them they can give it place. Small body after it them. Tell all them for sleep. Pass amongst the go.
The cleaning exercise of the two communities will surely go a long way in their efforts to reduce the risk of disaster and the building of more disaster-resilient communities in the country. Andrew Bestman reporting.
The chairman of the Leone ExService Association overseas, Slesau, retired Ken Josia, has said that over 20,000 Leone ex-servicemen and women are living in deplorable condition and expressed the association's desire to work in partnership with its team to ensure that the livelihood of the ex-servicemen and women in Leone is projected for due recognition of their loyalty to the government and people of Leone. Here is the report.
Speaking during the presentation of 70 bags of rice, 78 pairs of footwear and other items at a session held at the office of the National Security ONS at Tower Hill in Freetown, the chairman of the Sierra Leone Ex-Service Association Overseas, Slesau, retired Captain Ken Josiah, said the gesture was to complement government's effort in providing support for the disaster-affected survivors. Dilating on the specific objectives of the formation of Slesau, Chairman Josiah told his audience that in the past decades, ex-servicemen and women in Sierra Leone were deprived of certain privileges which resulted to their present deplorable status. He said as an organization with ex-service in the diaspora, they are well determined and poised to create the necessary awareness for government to help change the status quo of their compatriots.
In 2014, out of grave concerns and continuous reports from the condition of ex-servicemen and women in Sierra Leone, we, colleagues overseas, decided to come together to form this organization for one primary purpose, and that was to draw the attention of government to the conditions of ex-servicemen and women in this country. We realized that the post-war activities were primarily the dismissal of a huge number of ex-servicemen and women without a commensurate pension to match the rate of inflation. And so a lot of them were struggling with day-to-day feeding of their family and even getting jobs. Most of them were young and out of service and could not find a job. And so we created this organization primarily to draw the attention and the awareness of government to their plight and condition. The second reason we formed this organization was to solicit funds from the United States and other bigger economies through non-profit charities so that we can channel those funds to find ways to help our colleagues where we could. The focus of our organization really at that time was critically to focus on where the problems were, especially with the wounded and the disabled, and to find vocational skills training to help them develop certain skills so that they are employable. But at the center of it all, like I mentioned earlier, was actually to draw attention to these issues and to ensure that government pays attention to their welfare.
Giving an overview on the way forward for Slesau to ensure the betterment of the livelihood of ex-servicemen and women in Sierra Leone, retired Captain Ken Josiah assured that there are ongoing plans for the organization to work with humanitarian organizations and the government of Sierra Leone to engage their inclusiveness and sponsor them to contribute towards nation building as well as for the improvement of their livelihood.
So way forward is really continuing to raise funds overseas and again work with partners here, especially government entities and non-profitable organizations all over the world who are concerned about the security and stability of our country, to come together and see what they can do to help employ or make employment for ex-servicemen a priority so that we can alleviate some of the sufferings of men who have suffered for this country, who have fought for this country, and who continue to struggle.
The vice chairman of the Sierra Leone Ex-Service Association overseas Lesao, retired Major Dr. Matthew S. Kamara, told Star News that Lesao is a non-governmental and profitable organization. Retired Major Dr. Kamara disclosed plans to restructure the system to work in collaboration with those in the diaspora so as to facilitate their inclusiveness in promoting their livelihood and the association in general.
Organization is a non-profit organization that is non-political. And within this organization, we are trying to make sure that whatever resources we're able to collect, we're able to come utilize here and help our brothers and sisters who are ex-service personnel. With what we have formed, we're trying to make sure that if we come together, we reorganize the organization. And after that, we try to have structures because leadership and management should work together. But with us coming, we've created an awareness and they are ready to work with us. And from there, we're able to make sure we're trying to have a compiled list of all our ex-servicemen and women in the country, or the nation. Then from there, we try to see how best we can engage the government and try to help our people, how they can be able to have jobs and other things where necessary.
Slesao, which is composed of ex-servicemen and women in the diaspora, operating as an affiliate body to ex-servicemen and women in Sierra Leone, has also responded to the clarion call of the government in Sierra Leone to support the lives of the disaster-affected survivors. Compiled by Wahida Sise, this is Eric Silas Kawa reporting for Star News in Freetown, Sierra Leone.
The French ambassador to Sierra Leone and Guinea, His Excellency Yin Magos Guin, on Tuesday, 17 October 2017, officially held the formal launching of the French Companies Business Club, FCBC, attracting representatives of French companies working in Sierra Leone at the France Embassy at Spolup in Freetown. Let's have more on this report.
Performing the formal launching, the ambassador maintained that they want to engage French businesses in the country in order to strengthen the bilateral relationship between the two countries, adding that the establishment of a new club is aimed at promoting economic investment in the country.
The floor to the representative of the French companies here. But just before that, I would like to tell you some piece of information. First of all, France knows that Sierra Leone is working hard to return to growth and encourage investors and international partners to get behind a range of opportunities for wealth creation. French presence in Sierra Leone is now increasing, and it's my duty as ambassador to develop it furthermore. As you know, some French companies have been operating for a long time in Sierra Leone. For example, Bolloré, Total, Air France, AGS Frasers, Eiffage, Delmas, as well as some individual entrepreneurs. And tomorrow afternoon, we will have a big event, as you know, for the rebranding of Orange in Sierra Leone. So, as I said, we can say the French business community is now expanding, and for this reason, we decided to set up and announce today a new club. This new club is called French Companies Business Club, FCBC. Its main goal is to reinforce French presence in Sierra Leone, economically speaking, and to promote exchanges of views and information among French companies on the economic situation and to promote investments in Sierra Leone.
It disclosed that there are 8 big investment companies working in Sierra Leone, and the FCBC intends to follow the agenda for prosperity by bringing more investment opportunities to the people of Sierra Leone. The newly elected president for the French Companies Business Club, Mr. Fabianco Kokan, informed journalists that the launching of the FCBC is to create more opportunities in the country by encouraging more French international partners to invest in its creation. Citing the objective of the FCBC, the Secretary General, Madame Cyril Drave, assured journalists that the association wants to enforce the presence of French companies in Sierra Leone to ensure good application of local content and compliance with the laws of Sierra Leone, and to ensure best practices between French companies and Sierra Leone.
As His Excellency Jean-Marc Gros-Curin said, the objective of the association is to enforce the presence of French companies in Sierra Leone, and mainly to advise on different subjects, financial, fiscal, public relations, procedure related to Sierra Leone, to ensure the good application of the local content and mainly compliance with law, because all our companies are strictly compliant, to ensure the exchange of best practices between the different companies, different French companies, and finally to welcome any new incoming French company or French investor in Sierra Leone. So we hope that this association will give more dynamism to the economic Sierra Leone, to the economic environment of Sierra Leone companies.
One of the company's representatives, the treasurer, Amira Brian Juan Bouron, expressed their commitment and promised to create more investment in the country. For Star TV News, I am Milton John reporting from Freetown.
Let's join our sport correspondent Hilton John for some sport news.
Thanks to Ida Sisi in the studio. For some sporting news, we start with the local issues surrounding our sporting discipline in the country. Since the death of Dr. Faluddin, the former president of the Sierra Leone Swimming Association, may his soul continue to rest in perfect peace. Well, they have been using an acting president that was instructed to get the responsibility of running the affairs of the association in the country. Well, preparation is on the way for them to hold the elected Congress to see whether he will continue to serve as the president of the association, and also the Secretary General, who is Mohamed Touré, that hopefully they will get in their elected Congress in the next 1 or 2. But something is not working well. There is a little bit an impasse with some stakeholders within the Sierra Leone Swimming Association. My colleague Alison has been following the issue of swimming, and he now reports.
10 legal clubs will rightly decide whether to retain or dissolve the existing swimming executive, whose mandate will officially come to fruition this weekend. 7 positions will hold the swimming family together, with only 4 contestable. President Reverend Williams and Scribe Mohamed Touré are sure to go unopposed, while the family of swimming thinks the Brace have done everything within their might to restore past glories and bring dynamics in leadership for the development of swimming in the country. Revealing how things have been in the last 4 years, Scribe Mohammed said that they inherited a federation with neither account nor email address to share correspondences. He remarked that during that time, the country had not attended international competitions for over 15 years. On their swimming office, he explained that the first thing they did was to organize a refresher course for coaches and PE teachers drawn from all regions to spread the game to identify young talent, since there was hardly any sport-aged swimmer at the time. According to him, this incursion brought to focus the country's proud female swimmer, Bintu Rabi Jallow, who has represented the country in highly prestigious international swimming outings.
Part of our manifesto to come into office, we promised the people, we promised the country that swimming will be a name, a household name in the country, and that swimming will be known to the world. Sierra Leone will be known in the world of aquatics, and that we would go to the Olympic Games. And indeed, in 2015, we were the first country to showcase the world that Ebola had finished in the country when we went to Russia, Kazan, in August 2015, and we became the first country, the first discipline, to qualify for the Rio 2016 Olympic Games. And during our tenure, we are the first to present a female swimmer in the name of Bintu Rabi Jallow, who became the flag bearer for the Sierra Leone swimming team, the first as well in the World Championships and became, later for the Rio Olympics, became the flag bearer and team captain for the Sierra Leone delegation.
On what next to do if elected into office, Scribe Toure said that their first task after election is to help the government in building another swimming pool dedicated to national swimming programs.
Our first plan is to support the government in having another swimming pool in the country. As you can see, or as you know, there's only one swimming pool in the country, and that is at the Shaka Stevens Stadium. And it's an Olympic-sized swimming pool. So even if we are not able to build an Olympic-sized swimming pool, we will still build a 25-meter swimming pool, which will be good and suitable for short course swimming. You know, because as an association, we want to leave a legacy. As an executive, we want to leave a legacy. We've finished that stage of empowering coaches and training coaches. We can boast that we have over 50 swimming coaches from all over the country and swimmers, over 100 swimmers from all over the country. Although, as I said earlier, we have 30 in the talent pool from which we select or elect to go and represent the country based, I repeat, based on their performance in previous games and in time trials we conduct.
Meanwhile, a team of 7 junior swimmers will depart the country immediately after the weekend elective congress for the Nigeria Swimming Zone 2 Championships scheduled for late October this year. Last year, the senior side brought home 12 medals won in the tournament equivalent held in Senegal. For Star TV Sport, Ali Kamara reporting.
Very interesting in the Sierra Leone Swimming Association. 10 stakeholders will decide the fate of the association, not like in football, where you have 47 delegates that will decide the fate of football in the country. But in this case, it's all about swimming. We hope that the new elected executive members will think about developing the sporting discipline, because only one swimming pool is available for the Sierra Leone Swimming Association in the country. The executive need to do more. Away from the local scene in the international scene, it's getting crazy with Jose Mourinho, the Manchester United boss, and also former Chelsea head coach with Antonio Conte. It could be called things not working properly well at his stands for Antonio Conte, despite Jose Mourinho's getting a much better performance in Manchester United. When we saw Chelsea play against Roma yesterday, it's all in there 3-0 for both teams, and then Manchester United succeeded in the Champions League. But Jose Mourinho now is saying that, well, one of the things is going on wrong in Chelsea. And according to Antonio Conte, he's not pleased with the comments of Jose Mourinho. So both coaches are saying that, for Antonio Conte, he's saying that you need to pay attention to Chelsea Football Club, where he's not expecting Jose Mourinho to make any comments against his own club. So it's getting crazy for the two coaches, Jose Mourinho against Antonio Conte. Also, the setback for Rafael Nadal, one of the best tennis players in the world, sustained from injury. He will be fighting very, very hard to see how best to get a comeback. He's suffering from hamstring injury, where it's so difficult at the moment for Rafael Nadal. He's the world #1, but there is a possibility for him to miss out several competitions in future, more especially Shanghai competition, where Rafael Nadal will be out. It's the same to Joanna Konta. Also, Joanna Konta also will be missing out in future competitions due to injury. It could be recalled last time it was Maria Sharapova. Now this time is Joanna Konta and also Rafael Nadal. Well, we hope that they will come back into the tennis field to get more laurels and win more medals for their country. That's all for sports for today. Back to you, IDC in the studio.
That was Hilton John giving us updates on sport, both local and international. Well, that's all we have for you in a National News Bulletin file live here on Star TV. I am Waida Sase. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for other exciting programs coming up shortly after the weather forecast. Stay blessed.